BlackBusters.
What's cracking, family? We are back with another episode of BlackBusters, the best movie review podcast in the world.
The world and heaven, Craig. The world and heaven,
in the
Craig.
world and heaven, Craig.
And heaven, Craig.
Yes, sir. We're back, and like I told you guys, all right, I'm your host, Big Ja, along with my co-host.
I'm the Monsignor himself, Tone John Paul II.
Tone John Paul II.
Tone John Paul II.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, head of the church.
Again,
head of the church.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And again, like I told y'all, how we were going to do it. We doing Sister Act 2 back to back after we just did Sister Act 1.
Yeah. Staying in the universe.
Once again, stay in the universe. Shout out to the 30th anniversary of Sister Act 2. Whoopi Goldberg was on The View, yes?
Yeah.
And she had the whole choir back. Everybody, I think everybody, I know Lauryn Hill wasn't there, would have loved to see her be there. That would have been super, super dope. But
there were some great memes about why she wasn't there. Her permission slip didn't get signed like in the movie, and then that she was running late because Lauren is known for running late. But it was good to see a lot of them. Like Jennifer Love Hewitt wasn't there in person, but she did like a video. Thank you. And they had a good number of the cast out there. So it was
Toby
good.
Was shout out to Ryan Toby with the vocals. The note, he did the note that I was waiting for.
Yeah.
He didn't hit it.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. Yeah.
But come on. That's a hard note to hit.
That's a hard note to hit.
30 years later. But his voice sounded amazing.
And it's clear that was a studio note. Like he hit that note in the studio, because we know, like from that scene, we'll talk about it later, he wasn't singing live, right? Like, in that scene. So
he probably had a few cracks at that note.
There was a couple of takes. Yeah, and somebody was riding the lever. It could have been somebody else that hit that note altogether.
But Ryan Toby got it. He
can definitely sing for sure.
If somebody could sing it, it would be him for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Ebony from Players Club was on
Monica Calhoun.
Yeah. We should probably say, like, so when you graduated high school, you just went on to be trifling in the black film space,
smashing the homies, smashing all the boyfriend's homie.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, real quick. Hey, there's a guy on the internet that does like he adds all the movies together to make one storyline.
Yeah,
she has one. I should do one.
Oh my god. Oh, I mean, you can take her from exactly.
Goes to a strip club in Atlanta with her cousin, gets beat up, and unfortunately, and then she gets a job at a shoe store. Gets enough money to go to college herself.
Yeah.
Meets her college sweetheart, Morris Chestnut's character.
Because don't forget, she also plays the girlfriend that broke up Quincy and Monica in Love and Basketball.
Oh, snap.
Right.
She transferred 2 different schools.
See? So she broke them up first before she transferred to where Morris Chestnut.
Prep University or something.
Yeah. She's got a great story, and then a tragic ending. Tragic ending. There's a lot there.
Yes, man.
There's a lot there.
We're doing Sister Act 2, man. We had to do it.
Back in the habit.
Needed to be done. Directed this time by Bill Duke. Shout out to Bill Duke and his cameo playing the pops of the grocery store that his son had to work through all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He had to work, and he was always asleep in class because he wasn't getting enough sleep because he was working so hard at his job, his dad's shop.
Yeah. Sketch.
I mean,
Sketch felt like the homie.
Sketch
felt like the homie.
Right. There's a scene where I'll talk about it later. There's a scene where he looked almost special.
I know what you're talking about.
You do? Did you notice it?
Yeah.
I been noticing shit like that. I was like, why you doing that?
It's the way his jawline, and it's orthodontics at the time, right? Yeah, like
I said, whoa.
There was a way. There were a couple of angles that didn't serve him well.
No, sir, at all. Man, Sister Act 2, what a dope sequel.
Mm-hmm.
What a dope run back. Just running back again.
Yeah.
And you think, how would you do it this time to make it different, to make it better, or make it special? They did it. They said we gonna instead of Mary Clarence coming back to fix a convent choir.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a Catholic private school, high school choir.
Yep.
Of all the ruffians from the high school go to this class.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's start off. Whoopi Goldberg's character Deloris van Cartier is now after part 1 of Sister Act, she goes back to Reno.
No, she's in Vegas now.
I'm sorry, she goes back to Vegas.
Yeah, she's in Vegas now. She's in
And
Fremont. She's off of Fremont, but she's in Vegas.
Fremont.
Yeah,
but she's in Vegas.
Right,
she's downtown Vegas.
Right.
Old Vegas. Fremont Street. She's on there and she's balling. And it's so different from the first opening scene.
Yes.
Sister Act 1, where there's probably about 13 people in the crowd. None of them are paying attention.
Right.
To the opening of part 2 of Sister Act is a Vegas casino hall full of people who came to see her.
And she's got extras and dancers and cables and lights. It's a much different production.
It's a spectacle.
Yeah.
And she's giving them, and they love it. And she's thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And her homegirls from the Covenant come holler at her. Mary Patrick and Mary Robert.
Sweet Mary Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they come to talk to her. They catch up. We don't know how long it's been, but it's been at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the movie came out a year later. So why not make it in the time of the show? The movie a year has passed.
Yep.
And they're all in different parts. They're all in different parts of their lives now. They're all in different lives now.
Mm-hmm.
The two young ladies, Mary Patrick and Mary Robert, are teachers at a high school, and Deloris van Cartier, formerly known as Sister Mary Clarence, is now a headliner on Fremont Street of her own show.
Yep. Things have worked out. Things have certainly worked out for Delores. Obviously, things have worked out for our two nuns because they traveling freely into Vegas,
right?
And they're not timid and shy like they were the last time we saw them someplace. Right. So everybody has seemed to move forward, but the two nuns they need Delores for something. They're being a little cagey and aren't being, completely.
They're waiting to get back to the room to her hotel room to sit down and talk to her about something.
But these are Delores' friends. And they've got a special bond and connection. So Delores is always going to hear them out and agrees to take the flight up to San Francisco to...
But before you just jump there, let's just talk about this scene. My first nitpick.
Okay.
There's no way she's leaving show business to fly to San Francisco to see what's going on up there.
Yeah.
Well, I can see her visiting. Let me slow down. I can see her going up to Frisco to visit and see Mother Superior.
Yep.
Boom. So that's realistic. And then what Mother Superior asks her to do when she gets there that's the unrealistic part.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they want us to believe that Delores' career is so popping that she can take 6 months off and kind of come back and still be A-okay. I did not get that impression. Like I got the impression, and it might have been because it's 94 and everything looked a little janky. But again, from where she was performing, that's kind of like where performers go to die, right? Like, you know, like before they get shipped out to Reno. So she can't really afford to just take 6 months off. But like you said, if she doesn't, we don't have a movie. But that's a legit ass nitpick, right?
So
that like
a legit nitpick because in part 1, she was running from the mob.
Yeah.
That's why it was in her best interest to not hide somewhere else in a different state. As a regular woman, she hid in a convent in San Francisco, which is a different state, but it's in the convent, where the last place most people would look for a lounge singer. The ex-girlfriend of a mobster. So I get it how they wrote that in. That's still far-fetched, but I'll accept it.
Right.
This time around, part 2 is like the reason to get her back to the convent is even more far-fetched. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We need you to become a teacher.
Yeah.
And do what you did last year.
To solve all the problems. Like, you know, the ask is a little bit unrealistic, right? Yes. Like, we need you to come in and fix the school by really only impacting one class.
One class.
Right? Like 13 students.
An elective. An elective class. You passing what is it? Band, or you passing choir class?
Right.
It's not going to make or break you going to Dartmouth.
Right.
Or Dartmouth, Colgate,
right.
Stanford, Cal,
yeah.
Ohio State. It's not going to. No one cares.
Hey, John,
right?
that's legit. I mean, they really was like, we need you to come fuck with these 13 kids. And if you don't fix these 13 kids, everything's going to shit.
These 13 kids in this class,
yeah,
they're the key to the success of the whole school. That's been open. That's been open since she was a little girl. It's the same high school that she went to.
Yeah,
and she even says it. She even says, "I went to high school. Ooh, it needs help. It needs work. It needed work back then."
Yeah, that's great. You get a sense, like they don't really give you a sense of how big the school is, like how many students are in the school. But what we know is that we've got our core choir kids, and then there was the auditorium. When they sing "Oh Happy Day," you get a sense of like, so our choir kids are like maybe 1/8 of the total number of students in the school.
It's a Catholic school. That's low-key a charter school.
Right. So what exactly was she supposed to do? Right.
Our football team.
Right. What exactly was she supposed to do?
Their recess, their lunchtime is on the roof.
Yes.
That's where they hang out at.
Come on.
It's a small school, man.
Yeah. So that's a legit nitpick. Like A, was Mary Clarence gonna go there? B, what impact was she going to be being a fill-in teacher for an elective? And no objective. They didn't tell her what to do. They didn't say come start another choir, or just come teach music. And in this case, she's like that cinema trope. She's a bit of a magic Negro, right? Where she comes in and gets to talking hippity hoppity stuff to the school, right, and go and gets at that.
Negro, that's hilarious. Some of your Negro here on the piano and
work your Negro charms on the kids. Which brings me to another nitpick. Which again, I love this movie. But these are just. This movie does a lot of the things about movies that I don't like. I hate unruly classrooms where the kids are just assholes. This is not realistic at all, right? Like no group of kids acts like this. No teachers accept this, right? Like there are situations where where the bad kids or the unruly kids just don't be in the classroom. Or, you like Lean on Me is a better description of what that looks like, right? Not like the Glee Club being sassy towards the substitute nun.
You guys sing.
Yeah.
Like the toughest kid in there that looked like he could do some damage was Sketch, and he was a sketch artist.
Right.
And he
Right.
slept in class all day. He wasn't a street dude. He wasn't hood.
There was no street dudes. There was no street dudes in the whole choir.
The toughest person was Lauryn Hill. Vita.
Yes. Right.
So
Rita was the thuggest in there.
I will say this: me being a former teacher, there are classes that get it cracking.
Yeah.
There are classes that I've seen teachers turn their keys in.
And just be like, I can't do anything with them.
Right. Now, I've seen that.
Right.
I've seen that to where, I've seen the teacher get fired for taking matters into his own hands, literally.
Yes, I've seen that on the internet.
Kids being a little too disrespectful. And I think it was Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, 7th grade. Put hands on one of the kids, man. He lost it. Well, the dude took his coffee mug, and things we used to do, because our classroom had no windows, so you hit the light in front of the class. The light was at the front door. A kid would just reach in, reach to the left, open the door, reach to the left, and turn the light off and walk out.
And y'all be in the dark. Wow.
So you turn the light back on, stuff's missing. So where my backpack at? That's my butt.
Sounds like Sister Act.
Yeah, somebody took his coffee mug off his desk and hid it. He like, "Where's my coffee mug?" He says, "I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it back, and you guys got 5 minutes to get my stuff back to me."
Yeah.
Somebody got up, turned the light off. While Mr. Thomas was looking somewhere else, all you hear was, "Kush,"
and they broke the man's cup.
He threw the coffee mug across the room into a chalkboard in the shadow. The lights came on. Ooh. The dummy it was coffee dribbling, coffee drops all the way to the boy's seat, and he had coffee running down his hands, and he threw the mug. Mr. Thomas rushed him, lifted him out of his desk, dumped him. It was, yeah. So yeah, I've seen classes but these kids are at-risk kids. I'm in class with. I'm in school. Yeah. I'm in 7th grade, and these kids is the future of the block,
right?
Future of the streets. These kids at this
that's
Catholic
not what we had.
This Catholic school, this private Catholic school. No,
all Delores had to do was threaten to give them bad grades, and they straightened their shit the fuck up. That's all she had to do. All she had to do was basically say, "I'm going to give you guys bad grades," and they was like, "All right, you got us. We gonna pay attention. We gonna read."
Except one girl, Lauryn Hill, was like, "You know what? I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
I don't need this." And she turned around towards the class. The whole class was like, "Man, I can't afford to."
Yeah,
class. What?
Yeah.
Like,
and the thing is that Rita is so full of shit. Like, her mama ain't gonna put a foot in her ass for failing us.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
She's like, then the one thing she said before she left the room when she was doing the walkout, she said, "So much for friendship."
Yeah.
Walked out, and you cut to the hallway, and it looks like Lauryn Hill's character is about to cry.
Yes.
Like, it's too dramatic for no reason.
Right. Right.
And why are you so hurt by this situation? Rita Watson?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on?
So good. Like, so.
But I know I started off different from last week, talking so many good things about part 1 of Sister Act. Part 2, I'm off the bat ripping it to shreds in some way. Not ripping it to shreds, just critiquing nitpicks. I got nitpicks.
Because Sister Act 2 is, in many respects, a mess of a movie that pays off well in the end, right? Because this movie nails the ending so well, and because this movie nails Oh Happy Day so well, you can forgive the mess around it. Because they stick the landing and they stick Oh Happy Day so well that you can forgive everything else. But outside of that, It's a mess of a movie.
I'm gonna talk. I still got I still got my nitpicks before the beauty of it.
Right,
Yes,
right.
it's a mess of a film. Initially, she walks out of that classroom. Then you see her walking out of the school.
Yes.
Like, when this private Catholic school is seen to be less structured than the public school in San Francisco.
Yes.
Like, she can walk out. In my high school, you can't just walk out the gate without a security guard. Like, where you going?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my mom's gonna get me. Well, we need to see your mom before you leave.
Yeah.
Before you walk out of the
Somebody
gate.
needs to sign you out.
Yeah, you can't just leave school.
Yeah.
Unless you sneak, unless you hop in the gate you go to the far back end of the baseball field, and you hop the gate when no one's around. That's different. She walked out the front.
Yes.
And like you said, her mom is a stickler for the books.
Yes.
Now maybe I got two takes. Her mom would have smashed on her when she found that she walked out of her classroom. Mm-hmm. But her mom probably didn't even know that she was taking that class in the first place.
Right. So her mom might have been okay with it, but her mom did not have the personality to let anything like that slide.
Not only are you not going to be walking out of nobody's classroom, if it's a singing class, you're going to quit that class. That's fine if you walk out of that class, but you're going to replace it with something else that's going to better your future.
Right.
Mom, like you said, she don't have the personality to be letting anything slide.
So we have to believe, and I guess it's true, that the kids in the choir, in the glee club, in the singing class are the baddest kids in the school. like they're literally the baddest kids in the school.
It doesn't make sense. It should have been a singing class, or it should have been detention, or like an extra period that you put all the at-risk kids in, and you happen to find out that these kids got hidden talents.
Yeah.
Like, and you only find out because they've been in this class all the semester, and they playing this music all the time, and they just start messing around.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? Some of y'all actually got some talent. The rest of y'all got energy. Y'all loud and aggressive. I can make something out of y'all. I can make a choir out of y'all. A choir. And we don't sing. Nah. It was just too perfect. And unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like the hardest kids in the school to get under control is the glee club, like you said.
Is the glee club. They the hardest to get, and in that you've got these interesting personalities. You know, you got militant homie. You got you got baby girl whose voice is so strong, Tanya, and she tells her this is only for church. This voice is only for church. Like, she would be acting up in class. Right? Like,
only for church, and you acting up in class?
And you acting up in class. Come on. Like it don't make sense. Now, Ebony's ass is in there. It makes sense that she be acting up.
Oh, yeah, but no, Ebony, yeah. She's a little hoe.
Right. Right. Uh-huh. So, but again, in classic Sister Act fashion, she gets them together, and that's really at the point where the movie starts becoming kind of delightful. Everybody is kind of like a version of a character that you hate, up until the point where they kind of like start singing, like Frank hey ho, like, you know, like he played the character shockingly well to be a character I normally despise, right? Like he, you know, he did kind of come across like like an Eminem, like a early, like less authentic Eminem. Because whatever he sounded right. It wasn't in the wrong key. It wasn't the wrong like term. You know what I mean? Like he sounded like a. I'm
gonna say this. I'm not gonna give him Eminem. Now why? He sounded like a Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Eminem didn't come off as like a yo, what's up?
This is so true.
This
is so true.
You know what I'm saying? Frank A come like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Sister, he was just like, it was very, very, I hang out with a lot of black dudes, and this is how they sound, so I sound like that too.
You know what? I think you're right. I think like what the real question is what does he sound like when at home? when he leaves the set. If when he leaves the set, does he sound exactly the same or sound something different? And I think you're right. He sounds something different. He just was a really good actor of playing the yo. Frank K. Hey Ho.
Frank K. Hey Ho. I'm cool. I liked him.
He was he was likable character. I normally don't like that character. Right. I normally don't like that character.
Right.
He was at least likable.
B-Rad from he was at least interesting too.
Yes.
He was like, oh yeah, we got to make this a colorful movie, so let's get some white guys that got a little flavor. Mm-hmm. And a little AC Slater.
Yeah. You know I mean, and he's a. I'd much rather hang out with Frank A. Hey Ho than AC Slater.
Oh yeah, true. AC Slater was doing pirouettes and shit. Yeah. AC Slater he had a Mexican Jerry curl, bro.
Yeah.
He had a curl. And he wore like hammer pants and like tank tops. And he was a tough kid in school.
AC Slater was the tough kid at school.
Hey, but remember when Zach low-key folded? Low-key folded. Low-key folded. I'm going on a tangent. Yeah. But he was a tough guy. And Zach was the pretty boy, prep boy. Mm-hmm. And remember when they squabbled?
Yep.
He was getting with Mario. He was getting with Slater. He was getting with him. Anyhow, I like
so you know how they did Bel Air, and how Bel Air is a realer version, like a realer imagined version of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to see Bayside and a realer version, because in Bayside, the real version. Yeah, like Zach Morris is rich and he's, but he also got hands. He sells drugs. You know what I mean? Like he's real. And then you make AC Slater like a real barrio boy, right? Like you make him like for real. Like now everything in Bayside is interesting as hell.
Yeah, AC stands for Alejandro Cervantes.
Yeah,
a real for the vadio.
Yeah, for the vadio. I'll fuck you up, eh?
Hey, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth, Zach. Yeah, watch your mouth, fool. Watch your mouth, fool. Yeah, that's perfect. You said AC stand for Arturo Cervantes, nigga.
I put Los Manos on you.
Yeah, Los Manos.
Yeah.
Whew. That's great.
All right.
That's great. That's great.
Damn, all right. Frankie.
No. But the thing is, and the reason why it's not that far of a leap is because these kids are popcorn, all of them, right? The only character that we run into with some depth is of course Rita, played by Lauryn Hill. She's the one that we get some sort of context with. But everything else is just like popcorn and filler. Yeah. We know that Sketch's daddy runs the store and Sketch has to stay up late. And we learned through that one scene that Tanya go to church. But other than that, we really don't learn anything else about the kids of any like significant note or importance.
Right. I want to see what Amal's house looked like at home. The militant boy. I want to see what his family was like.
What his people was like. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then, I want to talk about Lauryn Hill really quick before we kind of go into the relationship with her mother. This was like T-minus 5 seconds before Lauryn Hill blows the fuck up. Right. So this movie comes out in 93, and the Fugees' first album drops in 94. And we recognize Lauryn Hill as that girl from Sister Act, but now she's rapping and she's dope, right?
Super dope.
She's dope as hell. And then from there we get to the Fugees' second album, which basically owns like 18 months, right? Killing Me Softly is it, and then from there we get the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So she went stratosphere.
she became her. She became her. Who would have known that the young lady in Sister Act 2 would be not arguably probably the best female artist, not rap sing artist of the 90s.
Yes.
And if she kept going, she might have ended up being on some Sade type shit, man.
I mean, Lauryn Hill, I'm trying to think of Lauryn Hill would have been the balancing act to Beyonce. Right? Beyonce does not have a cultural counterweight. Right? Like, if you think about how big Beyonce is, Rihanna is huge, but Rihanna isn't a counterweight to Beyonce. She's like a third, because Rihanna's kind of pop too, right? Like, right. And was born out of the pop factory. Lauryn Hill is from the born from the soil, kind of, right. Yeah. And if her career would have continued to blow up, if you think of what she was able to do with that thing, you know what I mean? Like, she to me would have been Beyonce and Lauryn, and we would have had like all the bases of what Black femininity and Black womanhood, and there would have been a home for everybody.
She would have kept acting too.
Yes,
imagine that.
Yes.
Imagine how many biopics, not how many, because you can't do too many unless you Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. He did so many biopics, but she's playing either Lena Horne or she's playing Nina Simone. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? With that
she's
voice,
yeah.
She's murdering that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Gladys Knight. Well, not Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight is still here, so we're gonna have to wait for her biopic. It's not gonna come to another 10 years.
Right.
But I can see her doing all kinds. And she was such a dope act. She did a great job in Sister Act 2. Her acting chops were crazy.
Yeah, I believe that she was a angry, frustrated teenage girl. Like, she was moody, and she was angry, and she had attitude, and she was also a bit of a brat, and she was pouty, and you could tell that like she was ruled under the thumb of her mom,
and that's why she was a brat, because she wasn't a brat at home. She was yes ma'am at home. Mm-hmm. She was overpowered and overwhelmed at home. She had no say so. She had no outlet. Her mom dictated everything she did and was her warden.
So, and that's why she acted out in school.
She unleashes the lack of authority. She rebels against it, and that's her mom's fault.
Yeah,
I'm already getting bullied at home. Her mom was her bully. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, a person that doesn't need to give you any time to express yourself or any opportunity to say your piece, but just lays down the hammer. That's a bully.
I mean, and what's also, in addition to being a bully, occasionally we run into these characters whose guiding principles as parents come from their own trauma, and it's so clear, right? Like, it's so clear that like she ain't got over what happened with Rita's daddy, right? And so
that summed it up in one sentence,
right? Right. Like, we totally get it. We use that trope has been used. I'm not a fan of I'm the parent that hates music. You better not be singing. You better not like music.
You better not tap your foot, boy. How dare you hum?
Right. And then it always
what you doing in that shower?
You better not be tapping.
What's that? A radio? She took your radio. She took your Walkman. What?
Like, took it like it was contraband. Like,
do you love your child? She has she's 17. She has a Walkman.
Oh, that's so funny. You better not. And then the counter is like, but Mama, I just want to tap, right? Like, Mama, I just want to sing, right? So
we know. No daughter of mine is gonna be singing nothing.
You better not be singing. Don't make eggs scramble, right? Like, just it's always that kind of shit, right? And
by the way, real quick, Mama's fly as fuck.
Fly as hell, fly as hell.
Beautiful.
I'm surprised she's single. Somebody would have been paying them bills.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah. Cheryl Lee Ralph. Yeah, I mean, like, but she was fine in it. And even though like the dynamic, even though that's kind of like Hollywood relationship, it was probably the most real and anchored relationship that we see on screen, right?
Yes.
Like understanding the dynamic between Rita and her mom was like vitally important to, I think, the heart and soul of this movie. And so again, this movie is just really, in many respects, just trying to get to the point where they're a good enough choir, right? And they're dragging all of these characters along. We barely get to interact with our nuns from the first movie. I mean, they're in it, but not a lot.
Supporting characters this time.
Super supporting characters, like supporting
guest stars almost.
Exactly. Even like the senior mother. You know what I mean? Like, she has a couple of good parts. Again, she's such a fantastic actress that, like, when she's having the conversation, with the father, and she explains, like, you just kind of got to let Mary Clarence cook. You just got to kind of let her do her thing. Like, she's that was very good. Exactly. Like,
whatever
that
answer it needs to be had, she's going to find that answer.
Right. But, as the head of the school, that he had he don't have no control to say over who gets hired and fired in school. Like,
he's the principal.
He's the principal,
father of the school, and he says, "Hey, how are you? I'm Father Maurice."
Right.
It was just so Disney.
Yeah, like he didn't see no resume. She didn't have to interview. You know what I mean? Like she just shows up, and so that suspends belief a little bit. Right. The character Mr. Crisp, who's a dickhead. He don't know nothing about it as well, and he's controlling these ducats so well. Like, is Mary Clarence up there but not on the payroll? And if so, like, does that not set off any red flags? Like, that she's just here, she's not getting paid. Like, so it's just like you gotta forgive a lot to just enjoy the movie.
Suspend a lot, yeah.
You gotta suspend a lot.
But because I enjoyed the movie so much, because I know as a kid, I was 12 when this came out. And I was just I like seeing school movies and movies with kids turning good and stuff like that. I'm okay with all that. I loved Lauryn Hill. She's beautiful. She was so I had a little thing for her. And then she could sing. That was crazy. Yeah. And this is why the movie worked. Because at the end of the day, they could sing. Ryan Toby could sing.
Yes.
She could sing. And it's crazy. They gave the little white girl a quick little moment. She was the first person that Mary Clarence noticed that can sing.
Yeah.
And never let her sing again.
And
she was good.
And she was, if you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up. They never let him do anything else. Yeah.
You can sing?
Yeah. And she was good. Like,
she was good.
She had like a powerful little voice on her.
Right.
But again, like,
it was about her.
It's really about Rita.
And Amal.
They let him do his thing. Again, like I said, like the old Happy Day scene is one of those scenes where it just makes me happy. It just makes me smile. Yeah. It's a really good scene. It's set up well with him being timid, with Whoopi having to bring them together. La 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 la. Yeah, them getting together, and then being good, and then the high note when she's, and then everybody turning. That's just an awesome. That's
awesome setup.
And so it makes everything before it forgivable. Everything before it forgivable.
You forget about it when you're a kid. You're 12 years old, and you see a boy that's a little your age or a little older. I see him work through his own internal issues and start singing and hit that note. At the time, for the last 30 years, I've been knowing that note, expecting that note when I see it, when I hear the song. Yeah. But at the time I watched it, I was a kid. We watched that in the theater. And no, the theater went crazy.
Yes.
He hit that note.
Yes.
Everyone was clapping and stuff. When Mary Clarence turned around like, what? Boy, you had that higher than you the whole time?
Yeah.
That was dope.
That was a great moment.
So,
That was a great moment.
yes.
Like it's one of those moments where it's just like we just said, that movie is so good and so powerful that you forget everything else. Like, thank God you have that moment where you have it, like, which is kind of like towards, I want to say maybe like the middle of the movie. You know, like that number is kind of like at the middle, because then from there we get to the fundraising and all the other stuff. You know, Rita's in the band, Rita's in the choir, Rita's out the choir. But that moment right there is just like, okay, that's kind of what we showed up for, right? For that moment. And then it leads on to the finale, which you know is going to be dope also. You just don't know how, right? But you know that like Rita's going to be involved. That's another kind of like nitpick that I have though, which is I imagine that they've been rehearsing for weeks, right? I mean, rehearsing for weeks. Rita leaves the band, tells the sisters that she can't. One of my favorite lines is, "Well, then give us our release, give us our consent form back."
Give us our release back.
Yeah, I love that. But she's not. She's out the group, and they're rehearsing. You know, our guy Sketch, even invites her back. We want you to be down. And then the day that they're leaving to go to Hollywood, she shows back up, and it's all good. So it's just kind of like, whoever was doing that part must be pretty upset. Like it's probably Tanya. It was probably Tanya that got booted. But it's just kind of like we haven't rehearsed with Rita for weeks. And now she's not only back, but she's the key to the whole performance, and the performance goes off without a hitch. That's a little unbelievable, right?
It all depends on how long, because she was rehearsing. Remember when her mom snatched the Walkman? She was rehearsing. She was looking at. She was reading the music.
True.
So she had already been rehearsing with them already. So and she might have. I think she was rehearsing with them longer than she was out the band.
So what do you think? How long do you think she was out the band?
A week tops, maybe
a week.
Maybe a week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
And so they had
then it makes sense that she would be able to fall back in.
Right. I believe so.
But somebody did lose their spot though.
Right. Because the question is, how upset are you when it's like they're like, hey man, we can't do this without you.
Yeah.
They got me singing your parts, and I'm like, I'm doing my best, but it would be.
They was probably relieved.
You are, because as much as Tanya can go, she ain't Rita.
She can't, she couldn't. And you could tell when they were doing the piano solo that even Tanya was like, I'm not really fucking with you. That when they were singing together at first, and then Tanya had to kind of like fall back because Rita was, doing those things, doing them runs. And so she was like, damn.
Yeah. You saying I'm better than you, but that's because you lack confidence.
And you just playing with it right now.
You playing,
right? Like you ain't even taking this seriously.
Because you don't believe in it, you don't think you have a chance in it.
Right.
You know what your mom thinks. So she got all kind of things that's prohibiting her from putting her all out there.
Yeah, just naturally. And there's only been a couple. When I think back to high school, the majority of the girls that thought they could sing couldn't. But every now and then there was one that really could. I've heard a lot of high school performances in the wrong key or a little flat, right? And these were kids that had confidence and maybe did a little bit of singing, but you could tell they weren't used to singing live. And certainly the sound systems didn't do them any favors. But every now and then there was somebody that could be like, man, they can fucking blow, right? Somebody that back in high school was blowing the roof off the joint. And I gotta feel like Rita was like one of those high school equivalents, which was like, she's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
She's amazing.
But she just didn't have the confidence. And when she got the confidence, when the whole band got together and was doing their thing, the whole choir.
Yep.
I agree. It was kind of microwave. Sometimes when you watch a movie, I feel like there were other scenes that led up to her forging her mom's signature and leaving, but they cut that out.
Yeah.
For editing purposes.
Yeah.
And for the movie. So a lot of times you be like, okay, how they go from the last time you saw her, she's like, I'm out the band. I'm out the choir for reasons I can't explain to you right now. Just take care, and she leaves. And the very next scene, we see her. No, we see her mom. We see her. We see her watch her mom close the door on Mary Francis's face.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene we see is her forging the signature. No. Next thing we see her walking away from her homies. Her
it's the rooftop scene. Yeah, the rooftop scene. Yeah.
And once again, another nitpick. The whole class kicks it at lunchtime.
They just together. They just
don't have no other friends.
They don't have no.
Come on,
I'm telling you, the choir. The choir is like their own. They're in their own solar system. Like the success of the school depends upon like whether or not these guys do good.
These 13 motherfuckers.
Another nitpick is Father Maurice acting like he didn't know what the competition was. Like he's supposed to have been the head of the school for like 40 years. And they find the trophies and say, we used to win every year. And he act like he don't know nothing about it.
That's an unnecessary nitpick. We shouldn't have to do that. Just make him know. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Just sum it up in one. Yeah, I remember those days. That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
The school was thriving. The school is not that conditioned anymore. Right. Our kids don't even want to go to class, let alone sing.
Yep.
So that's all you had to say.
That's all you had to say.
Because of course, like what Rita's mom saying, having that one line, she's like, "Your daddy spent his whole life. Your daddy died trying to do the singing thing, and look what that got."
Yeah.
That summed up why she's so adamant about her daughter not singing.
Yep.
And wasting her life, wasting her talent, or wasting her opportunities. So we understand. At first, why is her mom so mean for no reason? Because her mom is not. You feel like her husband died trying to do something that never worked out for him.
I mean, I wish we had another scene, which might have been like Rita walking to school. Or Rita like getting dressed for school in the morning and singing to herself to establish that like if you wake up in the morning and all you do is thinking about singing, you a single girl, right? Because when Mary Clarence has that conversation with Rita, we don't even know that Rita loves singing like that yet.
Right.
We don't even know that she fucking loves singing, right? They have that moment with her and Tanya, and that's supposed to do all the work to establish that like Rita loves singing. But if they had given us just one other little scene of like maybe like Rita singing in the house and then her mom coming home and her stopping, you know what I mean? Because she don't want her mom to catch her, or something to just further establish that like Rita was born to sing. Like, they kind of make us believe that without giving us like a lot of evidence to support it. And so I wish that they had done that.
It was a like you said, popcorn. Very, very. The script was kind of surface. They were just letting things happen, just putting things in place. But the payoff was the singing at the end. So,
what do you think about the ending? What are your thoughts about the closing number? What are your thoughts about the competition? I think like unlike Drumline, I think they clearly won. Like I think that of the finalist performance, like they were the best, but this performance is kind of iconic. The movie nails the ending with this. What are your thoughts on that final act?
I was gonna say this. There's a lot of movies out there where it's like with the Mighty Ducks, the Bad News Bears, where it's like this team of ragamuffins that never won nothing ever again, ever before, finally put their mind and soul and hearts and efforts into something, and they're the ragtag team that beats the best team out there. That's usually how this works. In this case, nah. Even the girls who weren't even soloists had pipes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, even Lauryn Hill was Rita's character was the soloist, but Tanya is a monster.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They could have won that song. They could have won When Jesus Walks. They could have won that with Ryan Toby being the They had their starters was crazy. Their bench was crazy. They would even though the team that won the last 3 years was good, but they were more like a formal choir. They were dope too.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do what St. Francis High School could do. But
St. Francis, they were like the U.S. Olympic team. Like they had, like you said, a deep bench. They had incredible starters. They had a deep bench. They had good bars. Like the bars in the middle of it. Like,
I had a homie. Well, one of the homies said he didn't give so much love to Sister Act 2 because he didn't dig the fake rap parts of it. And I'm like, where's the fake rap? Like that's in 1993. Joyful, yo, we adore thee. They sounded good. They sound like any other artist that was out during that time.
And the bars were 100% appropriate for the song.
Yeah.
Because all I gotta say is done with G.O.D. You done with G.O.D.? Yeah, you know me. Yeah, come on.
With O.P.P. Yeah.
Right.
So maybe because Frankie O watered down the rap part.
Yeah,
it wasn't black.
You know, he had the one one overall strap on.
Yeah.
You know, he busts his backflip, which is cool, but then he hits like a zippity doodah right after, right?
A zippity doodah.
like he hits it, and then he kind of does like a little like a shuffle that no black kid would ever do.
Right.
But like it all works. Yeah, he's white.
He loves the rap.
He can only get away with that because he go to St. Francis, right? Like, you know, like he can only get away with that because there's nobody tougher in the whole school.
Yes. And these are Catholic private schools.
Yeah.
Like this, he's not a kid from the block. He's not a street kid. But he can rap.
Right.
I disagree with the homie saying that the rap portion. But it took me a while. I haven't watched Sister Act 2 in so long. He told me this ahead of time. Are you doing Sister Act 2? And he told me what he thought about it before I even watched it. Now that I watched it, I'm like, the rap portion was a good addition.
It was just enough. It was about 8 bars. Yeah. It didn't go too long. And then really, like the final number does a lot of different. It has a lot of ingredients. It has a lot of parts.
3 dudes in the background playing the background. Mm-hmm. They had no lines the whole show, the whole movie.
In the light of day, Lord, hear us as we pray, Lord.
Yeah, they had everything. Yeah, they had choreography. They had folks in there doing everything.
I mean,
it was dope.
By the way, what have you done for me? Like you throw that in the middle. You know, they like it just it was authentic as hell. Like in terms of like
93.
It was 93.
Yeah, I've seen children's choirs, high school choirs, glee clubs. I've seen in my high school we had or my middle school there was the band. My homeboy was part of the choir called Rhythm in Motion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was called Rhythm in Motion. I could be wrong, but Rhythm in Motion had a couple homeboys that was part of that. They the homies, but they could sing.
Mm-hmm.
One couldn't really sing that good, but he loved singing. He was a choir voice.
Yeah.
The other homie was one of the soloists in the choir in my high school, and they would go around to different cities, different events, different parts of California and sing, and they was doing all that. It's high school.
Yeah.
That was 93. We was doing it in 97, 96.
Yeah.
98.
I mean, the glee club, the band, like the football players and the basketball players, they always get the love and attention. And we think that like all the experience just kind of stays with the football team. But like the choir would go on trips too. Like they would bus trip too. They would hook up. Like again, like there's somebody in a band right now that's getting some buns tonight from
band buns.
Some band buns from yeah. So it could be popping. That's fantastic, dog. That's fantastic. So So this particular band at the end of the movie somehow like is able to like navigate all of hip hop and all of these little notes, right? Like, and then just spits out like just a near perfect performance, right? And and they stick the landing. Like they stick the landing. You know, I imagine like the Summer Olympics will be coming up, and imagine like Simone Biles, like, you know, running up, and imagine like she trips and falls or something happens, but she still hits the pommel horse and comes off and does the quadruple triple drop and sticks that fucking landing. It's like, I don't even like, the approach is so insignificant. We don't judge off the approach. We judge off the air maneuver and the landing. And so that final sticks it so well that like it just elevates the whole movie.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like them with the last 25 minutes of the film, even more than that, but like the last 25 minutes of the film brought it all home.
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They jailed together. They killed it. They killed it. And then when they gave her, when the St. Francis High School won and they gave her the flowers and she threw the flowers up, I said, man, that made me feel like it was a sport movie, like it was a football or basketball film where they all won at the end. You know what I'm saying? They triumphed. It was dope, man. Feel good once again, just like part one. Feel good project. I had more critique in part two, but I liked part two a little more.
I mean, part two has more moving parts, and I think it like the majority of the nuns in part one like don't even have no name. They just happen to be there, and so that's okay. So I don't really care that I don't know who they are. I just know that they're part of the choir, right? This movie part two gives a sketch and Frankie Hey Ho and Rita and Tanya and Rita's mom, and you know, and it gives us kind of like a lot of people, and we don't really get to learn a lot about any of them, really. So like to me, these movies are about the same, right? They're about the same. Maybe I give like a slight edge to Sister Act 2 because when that movie came out, like I felt like I was in high school. I had to be a sophomore. It came out in what, 94?
93.
93, yeah. So I was like very early in high school. And so it kind of resonates. It's got Lauryn Hill, who ended up becoming a very big deal, you know, for me. But to me, it's just kind of like, yeah, like really strong sequel, built on, you know, has a little less heart than the first one, but equally feel good for different. To me, it has a little bit less heart because, again, for me, part two is really all about the two numbers. It's really all about "Oh Happy Day" and "Joyful, Joyful," right? I think, you know, like the moments between Whoopi Goldberg and Lauryn Hill don't hit like some of the moments between, you know, Sister Mary Clarence and Sister Mary Roberts in the first movie, right? So, you know, like there's more. I come away from one feeling like a real bond had been established, right? At the end of two, it's clear that Delores is going back. Right? Like she may not never deal with none of these kids again. Right? She came in, she won the award, she saved the school, and she's on the first thing smoking. They may not never see Delores again. Whereas at the first one, you felt like a new family had been born and forged. I did not come across from that at the end of Sister Act.
I disagree. I think she would definitely see the kids again.
Okay, I'm with it.
Yeah, especially Amal, especially because she had the one-on-one. Hey, bro, you can't hear whispering.
Yeah,
you can't. It's Shaka Zulu.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't think it had less heart. I think it had more heart in the sense only because I love Mary Roberts' character, but it seems like a character. I don't know. She don't seem real. Lauryn Hill is a real character. Amal is a real character. He talks about this pro-black stuff, but when you put him on the front line, he's whispering.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
And when it's all said and done, the dude Frankie, we got reps. Him and Sketch on, we got reps. They ain't got no reps, but they really wanted to do something good.
Yes.
Frankie was like, "Let's just try it out, man. You never know. We might be good at it."
Yeah, it could be dope. It could be dope. It could be dope.
You know what I'm saying? And so all you got to and really, it was more than, hey, it started off as, I'll fail you guys, so they got in line because they didn't want to be failed, but it got to a point that they wanted to be something, they wanted to do something, they wanted to see if they could be successful at something, and I dug that.
I like that. You know what's interesting, Job, before we get into some awards, is being a nun is actually Dolores's like calling in life. It's what she would be known for. Like she could be the Mother Teresa. Like they might make her a Saint Delores. Like she's actually in the wrong business, right? She really needs to be in the church.
She's good at this Van Cartier. Yeah, but she's great at this.
She's great at being Mary Clarence. Matter of fact, like you could say, yeah, she's good. She's good enough for Fremont in Vegas, right? Like, you know, that's like the peak of whatever it is that she's going to be. Is, you know, she may land a larger casino, but like what she does when she's in them nuns' clothes, she brought the Pope in the first one. She's like
for the Pope.
Yes, she saved a school in about 5 months. Like her real calling is serving the people from the church, and it's so clear in these two movies that like when she leaves, it's almost a disappointment. Like, why don't you realize that this is what you should be doing?
You're in your own way.
Yeah, Delores. Exactly.
Hey, I have a nitpick.
Yeah,
I have a nitpick. When they was raising money in that block party situation, all them people, and they made only $1,300.
Yeah, yeah.
All those people that was rocking, to their music.
Yeah,
they didn't even make. Come on, man.
And here's what I know, because the operation with the money was real flimsy, right? Like they literally had like overflowing baskets of money, like making its way through the community. Like, you know, somebody could have easily came in.
That's that 900 real quick. That's that 900.
Yeah. And Miss Headline and Delores, you ain't got $2,000 in the bank, Miss Downtown, Miss Lights Camera Action, like you ain't got $2,000 to take care of these kids' moves.
Come on, man.
So obviously she wasn't doing that well that she couldn't put her hands on $2,000.
Like, hey, we made about $4,500. It's gonna take for all these kids to get to Sacramento. I mean, to get to LA. We need another $2,000-3,000. She's like, you know what? I believe in y'all.
I got it.
Oh, boom. That would have made it even doper.
Right.
But just to ignore the fact that for a whole year, she's been headlining Las Vegas, Fremont Street. You should have some bread.
And she ain't got $2,000?
Come on, man. Cut it out.
She getting comped on everything in Vegas because she is a performer anyway. So she's not spending no bread. She ain't got no kids.
And the crowd was packed.
Yes.
The crowd was packed.
Yes. So she's doing 2 nights. She's doing 2 shows a night. So that's a good nitpick. That's like A, that's all they raised, and then B, that they even needed to fundraise like that to begin with.
Right. Yeah. Dope though.
All right. MVP. Who's the MVP of Sister Act 2? This is an interesting one.
Is it Mother Superior? Pulling her back in. Like, hey, the coach. At this point, she's the coach.
She wasn't even on my radar, but you might have just changed my shit.
I gotta fix something. Let me go back to a woman I know that was able to save things, change things around. Let me beg her to come back and help with this class.
Yeah. Damn. That's
she's and it's not like she didn't know. It's not you can argue and say, nah, Mary Clarence, because she did all the work. But the person that know what she's getting, brought her in. Like, I know I'm gonna get out of her. I'm gonna bet on her again.
I think
Arguable.
that you might be right, Ja. I think that you might be right. It's an easy argument to say Mary Clarence / Delores, right? Like, right? Because she's the one that makes it happen. Easy argument to maybe even say like for Rita, right? Like, it's her voice that
yeah, go ahead.
That it's her voice that, I mean, the choir was already galvanized and going to do it without her, so they were going to move on without her. And that last set was good enough for them to win without. I thought they would have won without Lauryn Hill. Like whoever,
Tanya would have did it.
Yeah, they would have still won because the whole thing.
And you had Ryan Toby. You had Amal coming in with his
with his thing. So I think they had it in the bag to begin with. But I think you're right. I think the fact that the Reverend Mother knew what play to call, and she knew what was going on with Mr. Crisp. She knew that Father Maurice had his earpiece in, and you know what I mean. His hearing aid wasn't on point. She was like, I know exactly what to do. She brought in Mary Clarence and got the fuck out the way. You didn't even see her touching Mary Clarence, talking to Mary Clarence. She just let Mary Clarence cook.
Let her
cook.
No
micromanaging. Let her cook. The most she did was she ran some interference. She ran some interference to make sure that Father Maurice wasn't going to fuck with her, but she let Mary Clarence do her thing. I think you're right.
And then in the last scene where they're watching the performance, she's back there like,
"Yep, I did it." Like Phil Jackson and shit, right? Like
exactly. Yeah. I went and got Kobe. I went and got Jordan. Jordan, come on back, do it again.
Yeah.
Part MVP. 1 was Jordan. Part 2 was Kobe.
For sure.
We're gonna run the play again. I'm gonna get my star performer to come in and do things again.
Who's your LVP?
Ooh. What's his name?
Crisp.
Yeah.
Crisp. Yeah.
He didn't do nothing. He tried. He wasn't even. He was a nemesis just to have a nemesis.
He wasn't even a good villain.
Nah.
Like he didn't achieve anything. He wasn't the foil, right? Like he was gonna shut down the school. They outsmarted him, outwitted him.
He wasn't Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. He wasn't trying to bring nobody down. He's kind of a mess. The only thing that I was thinking about, like, who could potentially be another LVP, is whatever sister had the class before.
Yeah.
like you couldn't do nothing. like you had all this talent. It's almost kind of like you got the dream team and you lost. Like when Team USA loses, like who was the coach? Like you couldn't get nothing popping with this group.
No, and let me tell you why. Because she couldn't even get her sisters in the year before.
Because she was the band leader from before.
She couldn't even get her sisters to get in line, and they had pipes too.
Yeah,
They had the octaves and the tenors in the wrong spot, the sopranos over there in the wrong spot. They really, yeah. She was just she might have won a couple of those contests back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Back when it was winning the 75 and 76. Remember the trophy? She might have been back then doing her thing, but now it's time for her to hang it up. She needs to retire.
Yeah. If you were going to try to remake Sister Act 2 today, do we have any like Ice Spice? Like Ice Spice plays one of the kids in the school. Like if you tried to.
Yeah, this is what you would do. So you got you could definitely. There's so many artists out there nowadays.
I think you could get away with it.
You got Summer Walker is young enough. She's young enough to play a high school kid still.
Yeah,
I think Summer Walker is like 25 or something like that. But she can play 17. You know what I mean? So you get Summer Walker. You get with SZA. SZA got too much makeup on. She had a lot of work done, so maybe not. But you can get. It's a lot of singers now that are the age of 25 and under.
Yeah,
that can play a Sister Act that would blow. That would blow the socks off the stage.
I think Hollywood probably missed an opportunity back when Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez,
Ariana
Romeo
Grande.
Miller. You know what I mean? Like when they were all in that tween and performance age, like
Before the tattoos.
before the tattoos, before the game kind of turned them out, like I guess like that generation's version of Sister Act 2 might have been like the High School Musicals, right? Because the High School Musicals borrowed a lot from. I don't know those movies like I know Sister Act and Sister Act 2,
Right.
but I know that like for that particular generation, they did 3 of those. I think there was like 3 High School Musicals, and it borrowed a lot from some of the themes of like Sister Act. So maybe that's why like that version of it didn't get done. I can tell you that like on The View, when the episode of The View was ending, like they were talking about like green lighting a Sister Act 3, which I don't know if I want to do.
Nah, because what's going to be a whole new class?
You know what? I think the only way that it works is if this time around, get me like some 8-year-old talents, right? Like some younger kids, almost like on that like almost like still like School of Rock's playbook, right? Like take the blueprint from School of Rock and do it like that, right? So you went from working with the old nuns to the high schoolers to now like some super talented like 8-year-olds.
But
I think
like
that's the only way that you could go to get to feel good.
Foster kids.
Exactly. But young, but even younger than high school, and get them to do it. I think like that's the only way.
That'd probably be the only way I would want to watch it.
Yeah,
and
if you do that.
And one of the little boys is dope, like not Quentin Miller, but Quentin something such from Romeo Must Die. I mean Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
that boy right there.
Mm-hmm.
He was like 12, but still like a little younger.
Yeah, like even younger than like the Stranger Things kids were season 1. Like like maybe just that age or like a little bit younger.
6th grade.
Yeah, like that kind of innocence. Like do that. But like I don't necessarily I don't want to see anybody from the high school back again. Like there's no story there. And a lot of the a lot of the nuns have passed away that played the older nuns. So I think for Sister Act 3, and I don't even know if Whoopi has the chops to act anymore, right? Like
I think,
but I don't want to knock her. I think she can. Principal. Of course, she can. Let me
I think
check
she'd
myself.
be in the position of Mary mother.
The senior mother,
Mother Superior.
Yeah. And she's got a.
And the girl has to, and the new nun has to be somebody else.
Yeah. I like it's almost kind of like she's got to come in and be Mother Superior to like a ragtag group of nuns. Like the church has gotten really progressive, and these nuns have all of the sizzle, but none of the steak, right? Like she's got to bring them back to like teach them about caring. Like, yeah, I know you're a nun and you did this and this, but I need to teach you how to have a heart, not how to like live outside the lines, but how to live within them, right? Which is what my senior mother, my Reverend Mother, taught me, and so that could work as well. But I think either way, I think I'd show up like the same way. Like I'll show up for Beverly Hills Cop 4. I'm going to show up for Sister Act 3 because 1 and 2 are time capsule movies for us.
Not looking forward to it.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going to watch
Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Yeah.
Old Axel.
Yeah, I know. Like Ready for Retirement, Foley.
I don't even know if I'm going to go see it, but Bad Boys 4, I might see that this weekend.
I hear that Bad Boys 4 is good. I was like, at first when I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't. But I hear it's better than the third one, or whatever the last one was.
Third one was terrible.
Which one was the last one? 3?
Huh?
3 was the. Yeah. I didn't like 3 at all.
We had a Mexican son. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah,
Asian son. Yeah, come on, bro.
Yeah. I think he's back in this one, so we'll see. Okay. Fists 1 to 5, all-time classic movie that got made.
Act 2 is a 4 fist for me.
Yeah,
4 fists. It's better than part 1. Part 1 was great. Part four is I relate to part four. Part four. I relate to part two more because I was a teenager when I watched it. No, I was a preteen. I wasn't even a teenager yet,
Preteen.
but I
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
I learned the performances were better, even though the choir in part one were good because they were a great Catholic choir. But this is just a more flavorful, talented group of singers. I loved the small scene with Lauryn Hill and her mother was
Yeah.
great for me to watch that's such a realistic moment. I felt like they were really mother and daughter, and even though the
Yeah.
mom was over or kind of out of character, a little more, her mom seemed to be too overbearing. It almost ran the risk of not being real. But if you had a husband that chased a dream up until he died and left you kind of upset and bitter
It's like it's like the exact same role that like Angela Bassett plays in Aquila and the Bee, right? Like the same energy. Like, you know, you bet not be spelling, right? like that. Your daddy loved to spell, right? It's like that same
you ain't gonna
energy.
spell because he liked to spell. You ain't gonna take you're not gonna take after your father.
Yeah, just in here, just spelling and shit all the time, playing Scrabble. So yeah, there's that bad parenting that has to happen. I agree with you. I think this movie is a 4. For me, like Sister Act 1 and 2 are about the same portion of everything that I like. I think that we were almost flipped in the sense that like the things that I don't like about it that make me want to put 2 as a 3, right? Sister Act 2 as a 3. I just can't get over, joyful, right? Like, like joyful at the end and oh happy day, like make this movie a solid 4, cemented.
Oh, yeah.
So it's perfect, and it's aged well. It's aged well in the 30 years. It was good. I enjoyed it.
My homegirl came over to borrow some equipment, for a show she did tonight. She came over last night, and I was in the house by myself just watching it. And it was towards the end, like with 13 minutes left of the movie. Yeah. I was just rocking by myself, digging it. So, yeah, man, it's a 4. And the only reason why it's not a 5 because once again, 5 is like for when it comes to comedies, it's like, or certain movies, it's just like, man, it just does so much. It has very little critique. Like I had a lot more critique in this movie than I did in part 1, but I like part 2 better.
And I think to your earlier point, I think part 2 has more cultural significance than part 1 for sure. Just simply by the presence of Lauryn Hill. But I do think it's one of those things where it may have moved the needle more from a pop culture standpoint. It's a generational thing. Like people of a certain age, I think, love this movie and might have this movie memorized. But I think overall, like 4 is a great place to sit Sister Act 2. Yeah. It's a great place to sit. It's in good company with other movies that we like and love, and I think pays respect to what it does. It's hard to make 2 awesome back-to-back movies, right? Like I like Back to the Future 1 and I like Back to the Future 2. They work for me. I like Ghostbusters 2 better than I like Ghostbusters 1, right? Like, I
like Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2.
I like Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. Yeah. So Sister Act 1 and Sister Act 2, they're in that rare company of, where either the sequel is better or they're both, very close to each other in terms of execution.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like I don't remember liking The Hangover 2. I remember really liking Hangover 1, but like Hangover 2 and Hangover 3, like they kind of like get. If I liked Hangover 2, I would know why. And I can't, and I know I watched it, I just can't really remember it. So Sister Act 2, man, it's dope.
It is indeed. Man, 4 Black Fists.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, family, we did them both, man. Once again, I want to say it again. Shout out to the whole production of both 1 and 2, but of course, 30 years of Sister Act 2 being celebrated this past week. Dope. It was great to see all the folks come out and sing. Ryan and Toby doing this thing.
Yeah.
Everybody singing, having their part in that performance. It was great to watch, man.
Yeah, it was dope. It was nostalgic. It was time capsule. And in addition to like going back and if you're watching this episode, if you haven't already gone back, you know you want to. So just go ahead and watch Sister Act 1 and 2. But if you found us or came this way by view of the View, if you haven't watched the View episode, that's worth a good watch as well. I think it really warmed my heart to see Whoopi so touched by what the cast and crew had to say about working with her specifically. It was a beautiful moment, and I'm glad that Whoopi was able to have it for sure.
Yeah. That's a dope ass movie, bro. Both
Yeah.
All right, family, that's it, man. Well, catch us next week. We're gonna talk about. I'll let you know then. Anyhow, I'm your host, Big Guy. I'm my co-host,
Tone Paul II.
Father Tone Paul.
Father Tone Paul II. Tone Paul. Espiritu Sanctis. Philly.
Yes, sir. And we out of here, man. Love life, be good or be good at it. Peace to the max.
BlackBusters.